I live with two male roommates, and their girlfriends have confronted me twice now about my supposedly inappropriate clothing in my own apartment. This is despite the fact that I wear baggy clothes and had already adjusted to their initial requests. They eventually accused me of trying to steal their boyfriends. I'm posting from a throwaway account because my roommates know my main one. The living situation itself is one I understand might seem unusual to some, but it has always worked well for us. We had all been living together before either of my roommates had girlfriends. For the record, I have been in a relationship with my boyfriend for 4 years, and he is good friends with both of my roommates. Up until recently, I never had any issues with their girlfriends. They are over at our place at least 5 days a week, but they typically keep to their boyfriends' rooms. They've always seemed like genuinely nice people, so their frequent presence never bothered me much. The problem began roughly 5 months into our arrangement. At some point, the two girlfriends got together to discuss what I wear around the apartment. They confronted me one afternoon when my roommates weren't home, stating they would prefer it if I covered up when leaving my room because it made everyone in the house uncomfortable. I asked them to specify what exactly I was wearing that caused such discomfort. Their response was that they had yet to see me in an outfit they deemed appropriate. Before this goes any further, let me provide some crucial context. I never wear anything inappropriate outside of my room. I always get changed in the bathroom after showers, and I am consistently fully covered when I am in the shared spaces. About 90% of the time, I am in baggy t-shirts and hoodies paired with sweatpants. The most revealing thing I have ever worn is a tank top and shorts, and these are not see-through at all. For the record, I always wear a bra. My shorts fully cover me and go down to about mid-thigh. To put it plainly, my outfits would easily pass a high school dress code. I don't mean to hype myself up, but I am blessed with a curvier figure, which I genuinely believe is the core of their issue. After that first confrontation, I made a concerted effort to wear only sweatpants outside my room, avoiding shorts entirely. Despite this concession, they approached me a second time. They said, "We thought we talked about your outfits. It makes us really uncomfortable. How would your boyfriend feel about you dressing like this in front of other men?" This was where my confusion peaked. I explained that I believed I was being respectful and had gone out of my way to be considerate of their wishes, despite this being my home. Their retort was that I was not a true girl's girl and that I was just waiting to snatch their boyfriends. My reply was firm. "It is not my fault you guys are insecure about your relationships. I have done more than enough to make sure you are comfortable in my home. Your boyfriends have said nothing to me, so I think you are being overdramatic. This is my apartment. You guys aren't on the lease and you are already here significantly more than what is allowed according to our agreement. So I would tread lightly about making demands on how I dress in my own space." They both said I was full of myself and claimed their boyfriends would not sign a lease with me again. The ironic part, after I spoke with their boyfriends privately, they had no idea any of this had happened, and they still fully plan to renew the lease with me. I find it insane that these two felt the need to gang up on me and try to dictate my attire in my own home. I could understand some concern if I were dressing provocatively, but I truly am not. How should I navigate this ongoing situation? Am I the jerk in this scenario? Top comments from the original post. Commenter 1, you wear baggy t-shirts and hoodies with sweatpants 90% of the time. The most scandalous thing you've worn is a tank top and shorts. You are not the jerk. Even if you were wearing booty shorts and sports bras all day, every day, you'd still not be the jerk as it's your home too. They can get over themselves. My response, I personally think I have been more than respectful. And you're right, I should be able to wear whatever I want in my own home, regardless of what it is. Commenter 2, it sounds like you've been thoughtful. For what it's worth, though, depending on your activities and cultural norms, sports bras and booty shorts aren't necessarily disrespectful. In my area with its hot climate, many people wear that attire all over campus when exercising. If one is a dancer, that's pretty much the uniform. My response? As a former dancer, I am dressing quite conservatively compared to how I used to. They have yet to see me on my way to or from the gym, which I think would send them into a spiral. How dare I wear shorts and a tank top to the gym? Their boyfriends might be there. Lol. Commenter 3, I'm just wondering what they are expecting you to wear. My response, great question. I think a nun's habit might finally satisfy their concerns. A downvoted commenter, maybe it's not solely your attire but your apparent inflated self-image, just a thought. My response, what do you mean by inflated self-image? I don't think how I perceive myself is the issue. If you got that from the comment you replied to, I think you have a hard time understanding a joke. Just a thought. In edit I added to the post. Since far more people saw this than I anticipated, here's an update that addresses common questions. First, my roommates are angels. Since I introduced them to my boyfriend, who, for clarity, does not live with us, they have all become very close. I know that dynamic might seem weird to some, but it's just how things worked out. So no, I am not looking for new roommates. Regarding the girlfriends' claim that my roommates wouldn't renew the lease with me, my roommates had no idea why they would say that. We are literally in the process of renewing it right now. Interestingly, the girlfriends have not been over since our last conversation, which has been about 5 days. This is very abnormal for them. According to one roommate, I scared his girlfriend a little bit during that confrontation. I suppose me standing up for myself and not caving to their delusions had an impact. I haven't seen them since, but apparently they are both coming over tonight. For those wondering about what the girlfriends wear, it is significantly less clothing than I do, that's for sure. But they are both very slim. In our messed up society, that somehow makes it more acceptable for them to dress less modestly. Not that I agree with that double standard, but it is what it is. Hear how the conversation with my roommates went yesterday. I asked them directly if they were renewing the lease. And they immediately said yes. They also had no idea why their girlfriends had spoken to me instead of coming to them first. I asked if they had any problems with how I dress around the house. Their reply was, "You look homeless, thanks." That's just our sense of humor. I also brought up how often their girlfriends are at our apartment. For context, our rent is all-inclusive except for Wi-Fi, so their presence doesn't increase my costs. I said that while I don't mind them being here since they usually keep to themselves, I draw the line at them making me feel uncomfortable in my own home. I made it clear that if their girlfriends ever confront me about a problem without them present again, I will not hesitate to ask the girlfriends to leave. My roommates were great about it and had no issues with anything I said. They are planning to talk to their girlfriends themselves. Let me know if you'd like an update on how the girlfriends interact with me the next time I see them, though I'm not sure when that will be. Update 2 days later. The girlfriends came back yesterday and we ended up having a full house meeting. First, some clarifying information based on comments I received. Some people questioned the timeline or thought the post was fake. The last confrontation with the girlfriends happened a week ago. I spoke with my roommates 3 days ago. I made the original post because I knew the girlfriends would be returning soon and I wanted advice. Also, it is very normal for the girlfriends to be at the apartment when my roommates are not home, which is why my roommates were unaware of the confrontations until I told them. I also want to clarify that I was in no way trying to imply the girlfriends are unattractive or too thin. I was simply pointing out that because I am more curvy, I'm a size 8 and pretty short as opposed to their slimmer, taller builds, the same types of outfits might be perceived differently even when they are not inappropriate. And no, I will not be posting or sending photos of myself. Stop asking, that's just weird. Now on to what happened. One of the girlfriends, let's call her Maya, arrived first. She approached me while I was cooking in the kitchen and said she wanted to talk about the whole situation. I politely told her that this was a conversation that needed to happen when her boyfriend was present, so we could all wait until he got home. She seemed a little confused but just went to his room. I then messaged our roommate group chat, asking for all 5 of us to have a chat later once everyone was there. My roommate simply replied, "Sounds good." I heard them all come home eventually. The other girlfriend, whom we'll call Sarah, came over at some point, though I'm not sure exactly when. Once everyone had settled, I went to the living room wearing my oversized Grinch onesie. For the record, it covered my ankles completely, so there was absolutely no way anyone could interpret it as provocative. My roommates found this hilarious, the girlfriends not so much. We all sat down for what was a very awkward conversation. I started by stating that it wasn't fair for anyone to dictate what happens in our apartment if they aren't paying rent. I explained that if Maya or Sarah had an issue with me, I would prefer my roommates bring it up, and that direct confrontations between me and the girlfriends were not acceptable. My roommates backed me up completely, said they thought this was fair, and even apologized for their girlfriend's behavior. While the apology wasn't necessary, it was a nice gesture. Both girlfriends stayed silent for most of this, though Sarah rolled her eyes every time I spoke. I addressed her directly and asked if there was anything she wanted to discuss. That's when she went off. She said I was too controlling about cleaning and buying things for the apartment, issues that have nothing to do with her, and that I prance around on my high horse in skimpy clothes. I asked her to specify what I could possibly be wearing that was skimpy. She just said, "You walk around with everything on display." Her boyfriend immediately stepped in. He said he disagreed completely and that they had never seen me in anything inappropriate, so she shouldn't have a problem. She got deeply offended, called him an ass for defending me instead of her, and declared she was leaving. I told her she was free to go if she had issues with our home or the people in it. She stormed off into his room and started packing her things. As for Maya, she broke down crying. She said she never meant to upset me and explained that Sarah was the one who had brought up the issue and pressured her into confronting me. Maya admitted she didn't really care about what I wore and hadn't seen a problem with it, but Sarah had gotten into her head. Looking back, Maya was never the main instigator. Sarah did most of the talking during both confrontations, while Maya just backed her up with nods without adding much to the accusations. I told Maya that she should have had more of a backbone with Sarah and stood up for me if she didn't see a problem, rather than helping to confront me. She said she wanted to work on our relationship and hoped we could become friends despite all of this. I'm not sure where I stand on that idea yet, but I suppose the thought counts. Sarah and my roommate had a massive argument that lasted almost an hour before she finally left the apartment with all of her stuff. I asked my roommate what was going on, and he said he thinks things are over with Sarah, though nothing is official yet. So that's how it all went down. Overall, I feel much better about the situation, and I'm hoping I don't have to deal with Sarah again. Thanks to everyone for the support and advice. Top comments on the update. Commenter 1, tell Maya the ship has sailed on you two being friends. Tell her aiming for civil is the best you can expect after everything. Honestly, how effing ridiculous, confronting someone about what they do in their own home one day and saying you want to be friends the next. F off, she's two-faced. You really need a new house rule, which is perfectly normal in most shared houses. No girlfriends or boyfriends in the house if their partner isn't home. My response, agreed. Commenter 2, why are the girlfriends there if their boyfriends are? My response, we never really discussed any house rules about it until recently. My boyfriend is only over when I am home, which just seems like common sense to me. Though my roommates have invited my boyfriend over when I wasn't there, but I think that's completely different because at that point, he is my roommate's guest. Commenter 3, how are the girlfriends getting in if their boyfriends aren't there? Do one or both have a key? That needs to change immediately. If Sarah had a key, the landlord needs to be contacted and the locks changed because you know she made a copy. My response, okay, allegedly they didn't have keys, which was BS because they clearly got in when the boyfriends weren't there. It was later confirmed Sarah did have a key because she threw it at my roommate on her way out. I told my roommates they aren't allowed to give out keys. They claimed that was the only copy made. I've already changed our keypad code so she can't get in. She's crazy but not that crazy. I also added a Ring doorbell so she can try all she wants. Editor's note. The original poster provided a final update sometime afterward, but it was removed and her profile is now private, so the post and comment history are unavailable. However, a reply from another user to her final update offers a clue as to how things concluded. Commenter, glad things worked out mostly. Your roommates sound like they have your back and Sarah sounds extremely immature and insecure. Better to know the truth about people like that now than waste more time on them. She probably told your mutual friends a very different story than what actually happened. Good for you for standing up for yourself and knowing your value. Enjoy the party with your roommates and real friends.